Hello, 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 and happy Thursday. Welcome back to yet another live event where we unpack passive investing and multifamily underwriting one step at a time. I am Vessi Kapulian, former commercial lender turned real estate investor. For those of you who perhaps are tuning in for the first time, I help busy professionals and connect them with cash flowing investments in apartments. I also help navigate investors through the complexities of the deal structure and have an underwriting course and community to help with that for those willing to do a deeper dive and for those willing to who are not necessarily looking to do additional work but need help with one-off deal reviews. I help with that as well. But without further ado, I wanted to pop in today briefly and share the results of a recent survey that I did on LinkedIn, and coincidentally came across an article on the topic by Invest Clearly. And as a side note, I'll actually have the founder of Invest Clearly, Pat Zingarella, at our next investor party. So if you'd like to join, I will put the link in the comments so you can register. And you can also DM me for the link if you're watching this at a later time and didn't have an opportunity to catch the link. But effectively, the question I posed was which one matters more when evaluating sponsors, the track record or communication? And responses were somewhat divided. I admit, it's a very tough question to answer, meaning to pick either or. Ideally, you want to pick both. And I would argue both are important when you're doing a holistic review of a sponsor. But if you had to pick just one, most of the responses actually lean towards the communication factor, especially when things are not performing well or perhaps not performing as smoothly. And coincidentally, just a couple days ago, I received an article from Invest Clearly, and that's a platform that provides not only deal flow but also sponsor reviews. So if you're a passive investor, you can check out the reviews there. The reviews are verified, and they do go through a very extensive process to confirm that the people who provide these reviews truly are invested in the deal or with the sponsors that they're commenting about. So I encourage you to check it out. Again, I'm not affiliated in any way, but found it helpful, and also wanted to give credit for the article results and content I'm about to share with you. But effectively, the question was, what do LPs most appreciate about sponsors, and what really helps sponsors earn those 5-star reviews? And not surprisingly, factor number one with 67% of the respondents, and I'm rounding the numbers up or down, are consistent communications, namely sponsors who maintain regular updates, respond to questions directly. They're accessible not only during the race, during the courtship stage, but also throughout the tenor of the deal and after, and really make investors comfortable reaching out. There have been numerous occasions when sometimes I hear from LPs they don't feel comfortable reaching out to the sponsor. They get the sniff or the roll of the eyes or the very brisk responses that don't make them comfortable or welcome asking those questions. Factor number two, along the same lines of communications, and that was with 42% of in terms of frequency or responses, is the high transparency. And what that pertains to is being open and sharing not only the good news, but also the challenges, the hurdles that the deal perhaps is going through, or will be going through, and not following what I call the ostrich approach, hiding your head in the sand and hoping that the storm will pass by. Well, it may not, or it may blow you away. So the best you can do is actually stand up strong and face the storm, face the news. And I'm a passive investor as well, and I can definitely resonate with this particular factor, because what I don't want is being surprised or being told bad news last minute. That's just not good. It raises a lot more questions, it raises a lot more concerns, and it's just not good altogether. So best to face the bad news altogether, communicate early and often, and be very open, not only about the good stuff and the wins, which of course are important to celebrate, but also about the challenges and opportunities that inevitably arise when managing a deal. And then the last two buckets, which are, I think, just as important, is the that were called out in the article, are professionalism and competence. In other words, being able to respond all the questions in adequate amount of detail, uh, a sponsor who communicates well, runs a disciplined operation, who doesn't have to check. I have to check, right? Is their response all the time, but are really well ingrained into the details. Sadly, that's not the majority of the universe out there. I often talk to LPs, and there are a lot of capital partners, right, out there who raise the capital for a deal and then effectively disappear. And that's all they focus on: raising the money, shoving people in a deal, and then you never hear from them, or they never monitor the deal. Sometimes they don't even bother showing up at meetings. And so when things go bad, then often those news are surfaced after the hour, or the 11th hour. And again, that leaves a really bad taste in LP's mouth. And last but not least, what LPs value, according to the Invest Clearly article, is access to unique opportunities. And again, that's one of the many value adds points that sponsors can bring, along with the three communication factors that I shared. And I actually have an article, again, coincidentally, all of these articles and topics and surveys are coming up this week, but I have another article on the topic coming up later this week. So if you'd like a copy, DM me. It's the three most common fears of passive investors. And communication is one of those factors for sure. And that is based on actual conversations I've had with passive investors. These are the three most common fears that they bring up when I discuss pet peeves and concerns about sponsors and syndicators with them. So that's it for today. I should be able to resume my normal Thursday afternoon schedule next week after my travels conclude. But if you have a question, feel free to DM me on LinkedIn or YouTube if you'd like to be notified of future events or get access to additional educational content. You're welcome to subscribe to my YouTube channel or follow me on LinkedIn. And again, don't forget the investor party on November 12th at 5 p.m. with Pat Zingarella from Invest Clearly, where we will unpack what LPs are looking for in a sponsor and where sponsors go wrong. And with that, I wish you an amazing day, a blessed Thursday, and I'll see you at the next Pop Up Live. Ciao.